For everyone, welcome back to IIMCS Innovation in Media and Communication Summit 2025. We have reached the final session of our 2-day long summit. And thank you everyone who are patiently being with us for last 2 days and for whole day long session. And now we are very lucky to be in presence of two of the prominent filmmakers of Bangladesh and Malaysia who will share their experience both as industry expert and film educators. At first, we have Amitabh Reza Chowdhury, who is a renowned Bangladeshi filmmaker, creative director, and founder of Half Step Down, with over 2 decades of experience in filmmaking, advertising, and digital storytelling. His acclaimed works include Aynabaji, winner of 7 National Film Awards, Riksha Girl, Bohemian Ghora, a web series, and Dhaka Metro, Bangladesh's first major web series. Having directed over 1,500 commercials for brands like Unilever, Nescafe, and Grameenphone, Amitabh Reza Chowdhury blends South Asian narratives with global production standards. He's very passionate about education, and he recently started this online cinema school, which is Cinema Pathshala. He has taught part time at several universities in Bangladesh, and I am one of his students, and I also have done my internship at Half Step Down back in 2030. So I'm very excited for this session. And we also have Mr. Patrick Lim, a Malaysian filmmaker and educator, who began his cinematic journey in Kedah before studying filmmaking at Columbia College Hollywood, where his thesis film Exit gained critical acclaim. After directing and producing films and music videos in the US, he returned to Malaysia to advance the local film scene, creating award winning works like Ecos, Berlinale Talent Campus alumnus. Patrick has lectured at leading Malaysian universities and served as a film festival juror. Known for his creative storytelling, technical expertise, and passion for mentoring, he continues to influence Malaysia's film and television industry through Pedgen Film. We would also like to welcome our moderator for this session today, Mr. Eddie Hesri Hairi. He is a lecturer in film and media at INTI International College Subang under the Center for University of Hertfordshire programs in Malaysia. With over 15 years of experience in Malaysia's creative and broadcasting industry, he has produced award-winning commercials, corporate videos, and branded content. Before entering academia, he led a production house and later the production department at Media Prima Varhat. His teaching and research focus on film production, media innovation, and the integration of AI in creative education, bridging industry experience with contemporary classroom practices. So let's welcome all our presenters and moderator for today. And please, I would also like to remind you that our session is being live streamed on YouTube and our social media pages. So let's welcome Eddie, Mr. Amitabh Reza Chowdhury, and Mr. Patrick Lee. Stage is yours.
Okay. All
Thank you
right.
very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm really humble and I'm really privileged to be here. And thank you very much for everyone. I'm really excited to talk about my experience on filmmaking and teaching.
All right.
Me too.
Okay.
Nice meeting you
Right.
guys.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sanjana, for the great introduction. All right. So again, I'll be the moderator for today's discussion. I know it's quite late. It's 9 p.m. here in Malaysia. All right. So again, good evening, everyone. And of course, warm greetings from Malaysia, Mr. Amitabh, and everyone with us today. Okay, so I'm Eddie Hesri, all right, a film lecturer, as mentioned earlier by Ms. Sanjana from INTI International College Subang, all right, and it's truly a privilege being here with you guys today. So before I begin, I just would like to say thank you again to Ms. Sanjana, to the team from IIMCS, and of course, Dr. Craig as well, all right, for the kind invitation, all right. When she reached out, I immediately said yes, because this topic truly resonates with me as an educator, all right. And as someone who has actually spent 15 years in the media and production industry before transitioning into academic, all right, I've witnessed firsthand how filmmaking had actually changed throughout the years for the past 20 years. The whole entire landscape had evolved tremendously. All right, from the days of linear editing, I still remember when I was first exposed to Steenbeck machines and beta machines, all right, to today's AI-driven workflow and short form contents. Our challenge as industry professionals and educators has evolved. All right. And it's no longer about just teaching about how to make films, but it is also to make our new generation of filmmakers understand why we are making films and to whom we are making our contents for. All right. So tonight, again, we'll be hearing from two remarkable individuals, all right, who much like us, many like us, constantly navigating balance between creative practice and teaching, and at the same time exploring new ways to make film education more dynamic, relevant, and future ready for the new generations. We are joined tonight by our two amazing guests, Mr. Amitabh Reza Chowdhury, all right, one of Bangladesh's most acclaimed filmmakers and true creative visionary. And our second panelist is Mr. Patrick Lim, all right, a Malaysian filmmaker, educator, and the founder of Pat Jan Film. Thank you again, Mr. Amitabh and Mr. Patrick, for being with us today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
All right. So without further ado, all right, it is 9:08, and I've been informed that we only have like 40 minutes for this. So we're gonna have
Okay.
like 3 rounds, guys. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I've prepared a few questions, all right, for you guys. So the first round is all about teaching philosophy. All right. So me as an educator, I do have my teaching philosophy as well that I'm trying to convey to my students. So I would like to get to know more about your teaching philosophy when it comes to filmmaking. All right. So let's start with Mr. Amitabh. So you've spent years in commercial and feature filmmaking before stepping into teaching and educating the new generations. All right. So, and a lot of students get too excited about the idea of filmmaking. Me too, same with my students as well. But then they always don't get to see the effort and teamwork behind the scene. All right. They always believe that, okay, producing film is great, handling cameras, editing videos, and so on. So, but the real thing that happened behind the scene, they don't see that until they were exposed to it. All right. So, how do you actually use your on-set experience to show them what it really takes to make a film, Mr. Amitabh?
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to share my thought with you. And I think at the first time, I'm actually sharing my philosophy and why I'm into film education on these things. Honestly speaking, if anyone tell me, if anyone give me opportunity, you said, Amitabh, you don't need to make films anymore. You just teach films. I will choose that because that is my passion of teaching cinema instead of making cinema. Why? In my childhood, when I should share why I am into cinema. I have came to, one day on my childhood time in a stage shows. I have seen one director doing lighting, doing these things, and running around everything. That person give me some kind of inspiration to make. Okay, I want to be director. I want to do something where I will create that reality on set, and then that's become on cinema. Then I started watching films, and after watching films, I got some kind of passion of philosophy of cinema. So that's more important for me. Then after some point, when I started making films, I found it is I know nothing about the filmmaking technicalities. Like if you tell me to run camera, I cannot do it. If you tell me to edit the films, I can't do it. Sound, if you want me to do, I can do. But I have done last 20 years filmmaking without knowing the technicalities of cinema. Then I want to understand myself that why I don't know nothing, because when I came to New York, when I settled in, when I wanted to do films by myself, handy in a very small unit, then I got really, I was really difficult for me because I know nothing about filmmaking technicalities. And your technicalities will technicalities means the technological filmmaking stuff. But what I know, then I understand. I know that technique of storytelling. I know the language. So that's I found it is very important to understand the language of cinema, and that I found. Let me share these things. And I was teaching film aesthetics. I was teaching mise en scène in cinema, and that I wanted to share to everyone. And that is the philosophy of my teaching. Let me share the philosophy of cinema and how I do it. See, why I want to teach films, because I was passionate about the history of cinema last 100 years. What about the directors and how they make? What is the philosophy behind all the directors? What are the movement of film, new wave, French wave, and new realism and Eisenstein, all montage, all these things. This philosophy of each and every movement, even third cinema, even the Korean cinema, even the East Asia, all the cinemas, the movement, the philosophy, and the politics of cinema, I'm really passionate me. And then I think that is the only thing I can share, not on classrooms. I can share in any sector, any way, like online seminar. That's why I started Cinema Patshala, and the new Patshala means school, cinema school, virtual film school, where I will share my why I'm passionate about cinema. If I can share my passion of cinema through the philosophy of cinema, and then people get to know, and all the students are will be inspired by these four filmmakers and their background. And then if they know the philosophy of cinema, if you know the why they're making it, why they're taking the shots, why the 50 lens is important, why 35 lens cut to 35 lens is really interesting. Why these things? Why? And what is the mise en scène of it? Why the color? You choose the color. What is the palette? And why you choose this palette? What is the philosophy of this palette? If they know it, then hiring technical people will be easier for anyone. That they will have the technical people and to make their philosophy, because most important thing in thing, I think the pre-production, the process of filmmaking. So that is my philosophy of teaching. The let's be passionate about the form of cinema, because every form, like if you say cinema, that is one type of cinema. If you say short films, that is one type of thing. If you say advertising, that is also different form. If you say digital content, that is a different form. Even the TikTok, each and every visual content has own form, style, and context. And if you know it, that okay, you are making short films, you are not making feature films, so that your approach should be this, your distribution approach should be this, your exhibition approach should be this. So this is the thing, that is that people should know before you, before you think any script, before you thought any project, any properties. And the most important thing, I think, the first part is selling your film to your right place. How you sell it. And that, if you're selling your idea, selling your idea is the most important thing. How you sell it, how you convince your producer, how you convince your juries, how you convince your film fund juries, or how you found how you do it. And that need to be very well written, and well written, and very clearly made your properties, like your pitch deck, your properties, how you do it. And that philosophy is very important. How you inspire your juries, how you inspire your producers to get fund, how you or financer to get your fund. That is, I think, you should be very confident about why you want to make films. And that most important things, any filmmaker, I think Pat also want to know. If anyone asks why you make films, and it's very difficult question to answer, why I'm making films. I'm making film to get the fun. I'm getting film to get the money, or I'm getting film to tell stories. And I want to make film to be myself in the on the screen. Why am I into film? Why you are making this film? That actually my most important, teach is ask yourself why you want to make films, and that is my philosophy of filmmaking teaching, I think.
All right. Thank you
Does
so
it make
much.
sense?
And yes, that's true. The intention matters at the end of the day, right? When it comes to producing a film or whatever
Yeah.
content. All right. So, Mr. Patrick, you also came from an active production background. All right. I'm not sure whether you remember me, but I think I've met you here and there once in a while, Mr.
Oh,
Patrick.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially
That means
dance.
you would know Roslina Latif, right? Since you were at Media Prima, right?
Oh, Media Prima is quite huge, Patrick.
Okay. She was in production line, huh?
Oh, is it? All right.
She's now teaching over at Taylor's. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
Okay.
back to you. All right. So I know you came from an active production background. I've been following your whole entire, I wouldn't say following your career, but I know that you are there. I know that you're there in the industry. Okay.
Okay.
We were all industry players. Okay. So now when it comes to filmmaking and teaching, what is your personal approach to turning film practice into a exciting learning journey to your students?
Okay. My first philosophy in terms of teaching is you throw the students into the ocean and you let them learn how to swim and how to paddle by themselves first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Now, why? Very simple. Film industry is pardon my pun, dog eats dog world.
Yep.
Yeah. So students need to be able to stand by their own 2 feet first, build their own confidence in terms of how to make films. Yeah. From there, what you do is this, yeah. There are many lecturers that tend to like, okay, this one, I'm just giving a general thing.
Okay.
Most lecturers tend to like students to be like the lecturer or to copy the lecturer. I hate that. Yeah, I want them to be their own person first. They need to be able to learn all these things. Then as a lecturer, whatever, you are there just to guide them where they want to go with it in terms of the story or whatever and things of such, right? You just guide them. What I like about in the education field is when you throw the students into the ocean and then you break them up into teams or groups and all that, right?
Yep.
And then you see them learning the dynamics of teamwork. Yeah, you would have someone that, let's say, if I want to be the director, and then they are adamant about being the director, right? And then you see their head growing bigger and bigger and all that, right? And then you see all the teams are not working together. So then what you do is that then you sit down with them and then basically just talk to them, kind of like post-mortem, how they can approach things and whatever. So they learn from early on how to manage their own egos in the teamwork and things of such. Yeah. Of course, like me, I've been through. I produced 2 horror films in Indonesia. Yeah. So, yeah, one is Villa Bedara, the other one is Kajun Kliwon. So it was nice to basically have the experience of those people, working with Indonesians. Yeah, and then you see the difference in terms of how Malaysians approach production and how Indonesians approach production. Yeah, Indonesian, because it's cheaper, right? You would have a lot of crew members to work with you. Yeah, your art direction team is like probably about 20 people, just art direction, yeah. Just art direction, building stuff and all that. Malaysia tend to satu orang buat semua. One person basically have to kick all the buckets. Yeah. So that's part of. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, makes sense. I can fully relate to you, Patrick. Serious, I can fully relate.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's it for now. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, and yeah, Patrick, I mean, when you say that throwing your students to the ocean and let them figure out how to find their way out of that situation, I can fully agree with that perspective, to be honest. And yeah, now you see, Mr. Amitabh. All right.
Yes.
You see, when I still remember the first day when I was actually teaching film. All right. And we all know filmmaking, we need to go out. We need to be outdoor. We need to be just out there to get things done. All right. And then when it comes to teaching film, we always encourage our students to go out and do their location recce, find the best locations for their shoot. All right. Set up the best mise en scene, like what you said just now. Okay. And suddenly the pandemic hits. and everyone was actually forced to learn film online. And I still remember that day when I had to teach TV production, film editing remotely online to my students. All right. So now looking from the perspective of online and online teach, offline and online teaching, I'm not sure whether you've gone through that kind of experience before, but what kind of strategies or approaches do you find most effective in keeping your students motivated and creative studying in a remote or hybrid learning environment, Mr. Amitabh?
You rightly said things. Actually, we rebirth. You say that in pandemic actually pivotal of our whole life. We fall in love with one person in that after pandemic that is called Zoom or this guy. I never heard about this person before, but this guy came our life and changed everything out in whole pandemic time last in 2 years time. Actually it came from we were stuck in a house like 4 to 5 months, and
Mm,
that period of time I opened what do you call in Bangla, in Adda, we call it, I opened a virtual session called
mm,
Zoom Adda. And every day, 2 hours, I used to connect all my filmmakers, young filmmakers. And every day we used to talk 2 hours, 2, 3 hours, and just discussing. On that point, actually, it got me serious. So what we need to talk, we need to discuss everything. And that actually triggered me out about all that Zoom session and virtual session. Of course, filmmaking required physical class like these things, but there are filmmaking's two things. One is practicality thing, another thing the philosophical class. I handle the philosophical class, and that is also very important. And what is happening on physical class when I went to Dhaka University, teach them.
mm,
When I talk about technicalities, when I talk about okay, let's do the shots, let's create a drama, they are very excited. They are really, really excited. But when I talk about the philosophy or talk about André of cinema, what is cinema's chapter one, then they
mm,
got they don't not interested to want to know about this thing. It's very boring for them.
mm,
And then I found in a virtual class what happened. I can do anywhere. They're not actually sleeping. They're actually want to listen. They're more proactive on virtual session. That is one. And second one, in Bangladesh, in a classroom session, we don't have like second world or like your universities, a good visual representations like projector or sound. That is not great. Anyway, that is not great. So if you show any forms in a projection, it is not, clearly seeing, not clearly get the sound and everything. Right, so in virtual session, what is happening, I can easily can share my videos. If you had a decent internet, share the videos, share the image, share the PowerPoint presentation, they can clearly see that. And that is very helpful for them. If you really attentive student, that is very helpful for them to communicate with the visuals, with the, because I want to show the visual reference, and I can pause the films, I can easily maneuver each and every shot, and they are only on the screen, because I don't allow my student to sit on a mobile or any cell phone thing. I tell them to never do that. You are not, if you are not a cell phone, you're not in the class. They should have a at least a decent monitor in a film school film class, and
mm,
decent
Yes.
decent sound. You have to have a proper sound in your headphone or somewhere, and that is very important. And that actually helped me to help in a virtual session, because I can clearly show any visuals, any sound, anything. So all my class, Sanjana have done the class with me. All my preparation of class notes, different things, on all the notes, all the text I'm giving, all the books I'm sharing. So I can easily can share all these things, all the student. It is more accessible. And in a classroom session, I give the notes. Maybe the printed out, or I'll tell the books to buy it. They nobody. And the most important thing, the students nowadays, I don't know, in a 30 student, only one or two student read.
mm,
28 students, they don't want to read anything. They don't want to, not a single text. If I give hundreds of text to them, they are not interested to read, because if it's an undergrad student, definitely they are not interested. So that was very difficult for them to inspire to read, inspire to, and that is brilliantly said, Patrick. So we have to throw them in the ocean. We have to throw them. You have to read a lot. Then they're not to know what to read. The whole book of Andrevaza, whole book of narrative cinema by Cook. Oh my God,
Yeah.
read the whole book. But I have to give them, okay, read at least one chapter, and
Yeah.
I will take a class on that chapter from that. So that was the way I maneuvered, and that after pandemic, definitely it helped me, and it helped me and try to get in a modern cinema what are the good things about the technologies in nowadays, because what are the good things about small unit, because now it's very important now to create the small unit. Be confident of small unit. You don't need a big unit. You don't need the Hollywood studios. You don't need Fox. We don't need these things. You have to have a small unit. Make your film very small so you can tell your personal film. Because if you go to the big unit, you cannot make your personal film. Your producer will say, do this. This person will say this thing. You have to take the poster boy. You have to take big actors. You cannot make your films. That film maybe give you money, but if you want to make your personal film, if you want to make your identity, and that is very, I want to say the same thing, Patrick. So I don't want to tell you what I want to make. I want to tell what you want to make. I'll just share my thought that the way I want, I made it. But you make your own film, you make your own philosophy, you believe your own dream, and that dream, how to maneuver that dream, how to put it on a script, how to put it on your properties, how you put it on your deck. That things I only teach, and that doesn't need to do the classroom. That is only some reference, some philosophy I've shared, and they can make their own films. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Patrick, how about you?
Yes.
I'm sure you have experienced something similar as well. I mean, from the perspective of online and offline teaching. So how do you actually make use of all these digital tools that is available for you to make things more exciting for the students? I mean, we all know when it comes to filmmaking, we always want to go out, we always want to touch something, handle the cameras and so on. But online is pretty tough when it comes to filmmaking, don't you think so?
Yes and no. Okay, now
Okay.
let me just clarify certain things. Actually, I left education just before, not long before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went into more production, but I
Mm,
was called in as guest speakers, or during the pandemic, right? I was
mm,
called in as guest speakers, and also look at certain students' work, and kind of like just tweaking, or giving suggestions how they can move forward with the project and all that, things of such. So but just to say, yeah,
mm,
actually pandemic has its how I put it, its positive points, where students, or most of us, are stuck at home, right?
mm.
So when you talk to them, sometimes you get them to, okay, watch certain films,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then when we get online, we are basically discussing the film.
Mm,
Certain films you can actually watch it for free on YouTube. Yeah, I got students to watch Russian Ark. That take
mm,
one take of Russian history. Yeah,
mm,
they get bored. Yes, because it's how would it that particular documentary or whatever film, right,
mm,
pulls you in. It forces you to be as active to watch it, and it's very, very tiring, right?
mm,
Yeah. So then after that we discuss about it. Why this and why that, and then Mr. Abhitach is basically right that students don't like to read, but you can get them to watch as many films as possible. Yeah. Uh, People might not like Citizen Kane, or the students today,
mm,
right? Because they find it boring like hell, right?
mm,
Yeah. But it's an important part of, of cinema history. Yeah, to actually know certain things. See, the problem with students, or I am to be blamed when I was a student too, right? Is that when we come up with a certain story or a certain idea, we think that it's original, right? Until we see, oh shoot, okay, it's been done before, So by broadening the students with as many films as possible, they are able to then navigate themselves in terms of how they want to tell their stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, okay. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Not really.
Okay, no worries, Patrick. But you see, at the end of the day, we are trying our best, right, Patrick? Whether it's offline or online. And I'm sure the industry had also changed a lot during the pandemic, all right?
Of
The way
course.
the whole entire workflow. I mean, the last time I heard, they were doing preview sessions online. They were doing pre-production meetings online. So things had changed and we had to adapt, all right? And now when we talk about change, all right, especially making sure that our students are ready, all right, for the industry. All right. So now looking at the current situation, all right, and this is also my problem, especially when it comes to how to say making my students know about this is, you see, we are living in the age of AI. And AI really had actually disrupted a lot of things, especially when, I mean, it's countless. I can count right now. I mean, from pre-production, scheduling, script writing, editing, all right, storyboarding, all right. Previously, in order for you to master any part of this pre-production process, you have to be in the industry for at least maybe 2 years or 3 years just to understand the whole entire thing, all right? But now everything can be done instantly, all right, using apps, ChatGPT, and so on. All right. So now, how do you, Patrick, personally, how do you actually embed critical thinking, ethics, and of course, creative resilience to the new generations with all these tools around us right now?
First of all, with the advent of AI and all that, yeah, we are basically dinosaurs. Okay. Okay, we are dinosaurs. Yeah. And but what we have today is still right at the edge of the beginning of really where AI is going to go. Yeah, we can still tell a difference when you look at an AI work. There's a certain too polished type of look to it. Yeah, even though it's still too polished. Yeah, and also when we talk about AI, is how much do we feed the information for the AI to create to at least come to close to what you want. It's still not there. Yeah, it's still not there. So when we talk about ethics and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing when zoom lenses first came in. Remember? Everybody seemed to like zoom in until people got sick of zooming in, right?
True.
Yeah.
So true.
And then when we talk about, let's say, CGI, right? When people started CGI and all that, you have a lot of these explosions and all that, and people tend to overdo CGI, right? Yeah. So now we are looking at the precipice of people making a lot of crappy stuff. Okay, a lot of crappy stuff. Some really interesting stuff too. Yeah, but some also can be not very ethical in terms of how the content goes. But can we stop that? We can't, right? We just have to let this barrage of things just keep going. The only thing that we can talk about with students is they know enough of cinematic history, philosophy, and all the important stuff within the aesthetic of filmmaking for them to just explore into the world of AI and how they want to tell their stories. I mean, that's the only way that I can say it, because AI is a world. I have to get used to it because we are going to lose all our jobs. Okay, so
we have to be very positive when it comes to this.
no, I'm very positive about it. But
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is this,
Yeah.
There will still be a straddling between the AI and the physical filmmaking. Yeah, because if you see, Hollywood is trying to go AI, but they are getting a lot of backlash. Yeah, they created this AI actress, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of backlash, but you cannot stop that from coming. But there will always be that balance between physical and AI for now.
Yep.
Yeah, because AI still cannot really think like a human being, cannot still really react like a human being. Yeah, because to do that, you need to inform to give a certain emotions, correct? Right? So, but as a filmmaker, we like accidents to happen, right? We like actors to give us something that we are not anticipating at all sometimes, right? So those little magic and all that is what makes filmmaking such an interesting thing for me, Yeah, okay, that's it.
Okay.
Amitabh, your turn.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Seriously, yes. Yeah, AI.
Before you start the question, I'll just add on with Patrick because I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
That I remember the thing that Fredot principle. You remember that film history, that Fredot principle in America. Fredot principle is sneezing shot in a bioscope in Edison studio. That
Yes.
while making the film, he just sneezed, and that's that's the first patent film. And that is important in cinema. That's something that is happening that you are not ready to see it.
Correct.
Even the director doesn't know this will happen. So
Yeah.
AI cannot deliver, steel cannot deliver these things. Steel, AI might be helpful for pre-production of it. Your thought process can help you some kind of, but you really want to touch your actor. You really want to touch your actress. You really want to touch it. And that is very important, the touch. And if you see one actor, you fall in love with one actor, and after that, if you don't see,
but
touch them.
touch
You
touch can be a dangerous thing also. Yeah.
Pat, you're missing. Your audio is missing.
Oh, okay. Touch can be a
Right.
dangerous thing also. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's
Okay,
feeling
good.
that, and that is very important while you're making films. And I think that's why AI. That is the struggle between AI and a real shoot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I stop in between.
No worries, Amitabh.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
It's interesting. I mean, seriously. And I'm carrying the same perspective as well, right? At the end of the day, human touch still matters when it comes to filmmaking, regardless how advanced AI technology is. We're still gonna need that human touch and emotion to make things work. All right, but Amitabh, just a quick one. All right.
Oh, Eddie, can I just add just a quick one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No problem.
If you look at we started out with film, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then at one point we went into digital. Digital was the thing for the longest time, right? But if you look at it now, a lot of people are going back to film. Correct?
Yeah.
You look at like Christopher Nolan, a lot of the filmmakers, they are still going back to film. If you look at the recent Black Phone 2, the whole dream sequence, they actually used an 8mm film to basically give that very grainy look and all that, right? So there will still be moments where we will still shift back to the old ways of doing things. Because in film we can touch it, you see, we can feel it, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I still miss the smell of it. I still miss the Kodak smell, negative smell of it. That is so smell. And that is, yeah.
Okay. All right, Amitabh. Okay. our international guest from Bangladesh. So I got one question from the Bangladeshi context, all right? So we all know when it comes to filmmaking, many filmmakers try from being resourceful and being adaptable to things and to changes, all right? So, okay, how do you actually help your students to develop a creative mindset, especially over there, all right? Maybe they have limitations when it comes to the resources. They don't have the latest technology or the latest tools for them to actually produce. But how do you actually excite them and create that enthusiasm and to let them see challenges not as a problem, but also as a chance for them to be more creative, Mr. Amitabh?
Yeah. See, we were bombarded with informations and YouTube videos and all these things, so much things, read writings, everything. As an educator, my job is actually more now because I need to find it out what is helpful for them, what films, what short films were helpful from them, what is the behind the scene of this cell phone. And I have to search them. I have to find the right resource on text, visual content, informations, all these things. I have to gather them rightly and give them. See, you don't have a camera. This filmmaker made a film through this camera, and this film gone to Berlin. This film gone to this. So this kind of inspiring story, you have to put them to inspire them. So you don't need, if you don't need any camera or the 40,000 taka per day camera rental. So if you don't have it, it's okay. Let's see this filmmaker in Vietnam or this filmmaker in India or this filmmaker in Hong Kong, he made a film through this camera and through this process because his story is right, his story is personal, his this film gone these kind of festivals, this kind of. These are the stories you have to gather, and that's our job is very difficult now. Find it out where the story in all over the world to, and these stories, if you pull them, if to tell them, so everyone thinking, okay, if I don't go to Berlin, my film is I'm not anywhere. If I don't go to Busan, I'm not anywhere. So I have to tell them, so no, you don't need to go there. You make your film, your film can be good in a small festivals, or your film can be showed in online or somewhere. You get the things. What is your purpose of filmmaking? If you create this kind of inspiring story to them, and they will definitely inspire and keep on making the film. Because nowadays it seems like it's run. I'm sorry to say that all the big festival now, big scams. And
That's
You're
quite a
right.
statement right there. That's quite a
Yeah,
statement.
you're right.
it's a big scam. And you don't know, if you don't know the curator, if you don't know network, if you don't know the sales agent,
Yeah.
you are out of the festival. So so I have to tell the truth of it. I mean, filmmaking is not, maybe after 30 years back, film festival was something important. Nowadays, it's politics.
Yeah.
And what I teach them, the cinema is a politics. Making film is not because I'm very fan of Adorno. I'm very fan of from school. So that's why for me, cultural industry is a politics. So I have to teach them it's a politics. If you're making a film, you are part of the politics. When you're part of the politics, you know which politics you want to be, you want to portray, and that is my filmmaking style.
You're truly right about film festivals being scam. Because
Yes.
I was put into jury for quite a number of festivals, and especially like the Commonwealth Film Festival back then, in
Yeah.
1990, what, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know in terms of what's going on in there.
Yeah. But but they have a very specific. They want to choose South Indian, South Asian, this type of film, this type
Mm,
of story,
mm.
original local story, or some exotic story they want, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think it's 9:46. I think I just got like one last question for each of you. All right. So the future of film education. All right. So now, uh, if you can just leave one thought for all of us today, all right, as an educator and as an industry professional, that one principle that keeps you teaching meaningful and relevant to the students for now with regards to film, all right? I'm not sure how the new generations are actually looking at film right now, whether it's still relevant for them, all right, in terms of production and creativity. But how about you guys? What do you think? All right, when it comes to keeping your teaching meaningful and relevant to the new generation. You can start with Mr. Patrick.
Okay. What we have today is the film education of today builds the students for other principle or other disciplines that they can do too. Yeah, because a lot of students that study film, they don't really go into film after that,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, but it's a good foundation in terms of building them up in terms of teamwork, how they look at things, how they analyze things. Yeah, those components by itself basically help the students for whatever that they are doing in the future. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, it's meaningful and relevant somehow in a way, right? How about you, Mr. Amitabh? What do you think?
Okay, I will be slightly maybe it's a atom bomb for you. I will say uh, I will say it's this is end of cinema.
Okay.
This is end of cinema, and we are just it's a cinema is dead. I believe so. Why? Because the classical way of cinema distribution, cinema become if you want to see the Barbie, you will dress like a Barbie and want to the cinema. So that's become cinema now. So for me, this is end of cinema. So anything end, that means the new birth is coming. As a birth is coming. So we have to rebirth cinema now. It is important to reshape cinema. Cinema become now like a poetry. If you have a pen and paper, you can write a poetry. And cinema become now more personal, more poetic, more real in the new world. So future of cinema will be very personal. If you make film, you distribute film in your own cinema theater like YouTube, and you watch films. So this is the way cinema will be in the future. And nothing one thing is not dying. It is your thrive to tell to your stories. You thrive to tell your stories, your personal stories. Though that combined stories like everyone, full team, everything, that might be difficult, but you can tell your story. You keep on telling a story, and telling a story, you don't need anything now. You just need your thought right and the basics tools, and you can tell a story. And and from that you can make a big film after some point. That's not a problem. So that means the if you really filmmaker, if you really believe in audio visuals and light and shadow, if you're passionate about light and shadow, you can make your own film. And that is the future of the cinema. Every person can make their own film, like every person have a bicycle in their house.
True. I fully agree with that as well, Mr.
Correct. Okay, can I just add a little stuff here?
Yeah, sure. Mr. Patrick.
Okay. Yes,
It's
I
become
do.
exciting. So 40 minutes is not enough, and filmmaking.
I do agree
We have
with
20
Mr.
more
Amitabh.
minutes for Q&A. So 40 minutes is not just a session, 40 minutes for you to finish your session, and we will have 20 more minutes. Please go
Okay.
on.
Okay, Mr. Amitabh, I do agree with you in terms of people saying that cinema is dead, right? But even 30 years ago, people have been saying that cinema is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cinema will always find a way to come back to research back, yeah, to come back, yeah. And most of it, I believe, yeah, it has to do with certain revolution or certain movements in the world to create that poignant moment in terms of for certain movement, like when we talk about French New Wave, right? We talk about Italian neo-realism and things like that, because that was a certain period, something happened during that time that pushes cinema into a new direction.
Yes.
Yeah. So now with the digital and all that, so we are looking at when we can basically move towards another movement to create another cinema movement. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say lah.
I mean, personally, yes, I fully agree with you as well, Mr. Patrick. I mean, my recent article saying that Hollywood is dying, not because Hollywood is dying because of the film industry is dying, but because of the technology that is actually disrupting. And like what you said just now, the film industry will always find its way in trying to survive somehow in a way, despite the disruption from television,
Video,
internet, VHS,
yeah,
everything
right.
just find its way somehow. Because you see, because I believe technology had actually democratized. Every single one of us can actually be a filmmaker. And so we just have to find the tribe, find the group, find our target audience when it comes to our content.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be opening the floor for any questions for our guests tonight. So I'm actually checking the chat window right now. So if you have any questions to our panel, you may actually type it out. All right. I'm going to give a
There's
few.
one hand raised from Mr. Kwasi. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Yes, please proceed. Yeah.
Greetings to all, and thank you so much for the session. My name is Kusai, and to be honest, since I joined the PhD program since last 3 years, I totally quit watching movies because that's how the routine is. So I will have just two questions. First question is about the training. I mean, as much as I know that, or what we used to hear, that whether the actor is he got a degree or not, you guys train them. I mean, like the industry people, the author, they train them. But what is the point? What is the point which, if it happened from the candidate, this will make the, I will say that the author or the director will say, no, stop here. We'll reject him. That's first question. Second question is about the, I will say, contract management. We heard this is not only in GCC or in Hollywood, even like global. We heard a lot that there is so many actors or stars. Their fee is pending. Like they say that I made this movie and it make millions or whatever, but I did not gain back my fee. So is my question, I'm wondering, is there no like this type of contract doesn't have protection for these people, right? I hope my question is clear.
All right. Mr. Patrick, Mr. Amitabh, anyone?
I can answer the second question first, yeah. The one about the contract and all that, right? It all depends whether your country has, let's say, yeah, like an actors union or a writers union,
Yep.
yeah, where those would or writers guild, yeah, or screen actors guild, where those would protect the creators, or the creative artists or the writers and all that in the field. But let's just talk about Malaysia per se. Malaysia, a lot of the persatuan is the club, yeah, or whatever, seniman and all that, they don't really do much. Okay, they take your money and they don't really do much. The only one I can actually say, FINAS does its job.
FINAS,
okay, FINAS does its job. Okay, for instance, let's say if my film is to be shown at Berlinale, right? FINAS would actually pay for my flight, yeah, and there. Because once I get there, they will give me an allowance to go about in Berlin, right? But FINAS would do that. Indonesia doesn't have that, you see. Yeah, so we have to, as Malaysians, have to be grateful to what FINAS is trying to do. Of course, FINAS has a lot of flaws, okay, but they do help. Okay.
Yeah. Because to be honest, like about GCC here, yes, here the same thing. Here they don't pay, I would say, almost totally nothing. But like maybe Mr. Amitabh know better than me. When we talk about Bollywood, it's about millions, and we can hear about big stars when they say that we did not get paid, and the amount is in millions, as we see. I mean, as we read the news. So this makes us concerned, and curious, like what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for my. I'm not from Bollywood. I'm from Bangladesh. It's totally different place and totally different industry. In Bangladesh, industry is not that matured yet. We are trying, but it's not yet matured enough to handle all the contract and all these things. On that part, in Bangladesh, though Bangladeshi government or in no other form of we have an artist in it, we have a directors in it, guild and all these things, but they are not effective enough. So for me, for my capacity in Bangladesh, it is very important for the producers. We need a real paying producer. We need to have a real professional producer who handle all the contract properly with proper things and proper papers and everything. That is very important. So that's why, because nobody knows what's the producer's job in Bangladesh or anywhere. We know it. The producer doesn't make money. Producer is not a people who give money. Producer who handle the whole project. So
Mm.
that's why that even in my film institute and Bangladesh Film Cinema, Bangladesh Film and Television Institute, I actually started that one course of producing 3 years, 2 years producing course. And all the filmmakers, everyone said, why you need producer course? What is the important producer course? I cannot, I couldn't tell them that, see, this is the most important unit. You need to know what's a producer's job. And that's why these are the problems will come. How you do the contract, how you maintain the budget, how you maintain all the payments right, how you secure the money, and that's it. How you manage the money, that is very important. That producers class, and suppose if anyone graduate, producer graduate, so it is very important in the kind of this kind of situation.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kusai, for the questions. Is there anyone else? Let me check. Give me a second.
I have a question if there is no question from
Oh,
the
okay.
participants.
Jana.
I would like to know this answer from all three of you, actually, from your experience as an educator as well as being in the industry. Do you think, with the current situation of both in Malaysian and Bangladeshi film education, they are preparing filmmakers for the future, or they are preparing enough good filmmakers that you would like to work with from your experience, not just from an educator, also from the filmmakers or working in the industry? Do you find enough graduates, fresh graduates from film, that are actually capable to become next filmmakers?
Very good question, Miss Anjana. All right. So, okay, may I, gentlemen? All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, if you ask me personally about the film industry, all right. I mean, of course, I've been in industry for like nearly 15 years. I've seen the whole entire thing change totally. All right. YouTube disrupted AI right now, and then the pandemic had changed the whole entire industry. All right. If you ask me, based on my experience teaching film in several universities, all right. If, let's say, for example, I have 10 students, all right, I can only identify only one, if I'm lucky, one out of that 10 students who might end up in the film industry, because the interest when it comes to filmmaking is really low, I would say. All right. And to find students that has talent in terms of directing, producing, is not easy nowadays. People tend to consume more content rather than producing content at the end in the industry. All right. So my task on a daily basis is to excite them, is to show them the passion in filmmaking, so that they are also have the same interest, a same level of interest when it comes to film. And that is the only thing that I can do from my end to find and to make sure that the students in today's generation being interested in filmmaking, Sanjana. That's me personally as a film lecturer.
Thank you, Eddie. So I would like to know from Amitabh Bhai and also from Patrick to share your experience.
For me, I should tell you one thing that Deep, in the industry, we need two kind of people. One
Mm.
is who are really creative and want to make films, and for that, no institute can deliver that. No institute can deliver director. No institute can deliver filmmakers. It doesn't matter. The filmmaker will and you pass out from film direction after 4 years, you'll be a great filmmaker. You cannot. No one can tell, but it's a possibility is there, but not necessarily. But institute, it's very important to create this filmmaker. You need a team. You need a technical person. Institute will deliver the technicalities like virtual filmmaking course, all this. I can teach the philosophy, but for that philosophy you need a technical person, and that should deliver, that actually come from the industry. If you don't have an industry, that should be stage should deliver this. Stage should facilitate these kind of people, because you need high-end technology, you need cameras, you need editing panels, all these things. That in the industry should deliver this, industry should create the facilitate this, or state should facilitate this. Unfortunately, in Bangladesh state, we don't have that institute to facilitate these people, because I have a great idea, but I need a brilliant cameraman to shoot this. I will get it. I need a brilliant sound engineer to shoot it. How you will get the sound? I need a brilliant. That technical person should come from the institute, and that institute actually it should be governed, or it should be facilitated by big corporation, or industry, or basically state. In India, because of cinema, film and television institute like FTII had three institute, they have four institute now. They have from there actually most of the technical people come out. Most of the cinematographer I work with, plenty of cinematographer, everyone come from film institute, everyone come from Pune Film Institute, and that is very important. So we need a two type of institute. One is a creative post people, art and aesthetics, all these things you teach. And the most another part is a really good facilitated industry. And the most important thing, like United States and all these things, they are very expensive, very expensive. So actually no one can go there. That's why the state intervention is important. That's why the sponsor intervention is important. So if you need to know the technical knowledge of it, if you need to know the editing, grading, uh, all kind of graphics, they are the people. I will scholarship them. You have to pass it as technical. If you have a good knowledge, you teach, you learn these things, and then you go come to the industry. That is very important. What we are missing now, we we are not getting educated technical person. Most of the technical person in Bangladesh, what happened? You came for a camera attendance. You just handle camera. You just carry the camera as like a loader, maybe the loader or maybe the runner. And from the loader runner, from the good cinematographer, someone you assess them couple of years, maybe 2 years or 1 year, 4 years. After 3 years, you said you are a cinematographer because you know and they become cinematographer. Most of the cinematographer, 10 out of 5 out of 10, I should say, it comes from a loader, come from a focus puller, come from these things on that kind of thing. That is sometimes very problematic in future, but they can, after some point, they cannot go, they don't know anything. But if you have a proper 4 years or 3 years course where you will learn history of cinema, then technicalities, aesthetics, then you become a good cinematographer, good art director, good editor, then you will definitely serve to the industry in a better way.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would like
Oh.
to hear from Mr. Patrick.
Yeah. Okay. Um, when I studied film in Los Angeles, yeah, in terms of in Columbia College, the difference, let's say, between Columbia College Hollywood to USC or UCLA or all those other universities, those prestigious universities, Columbia College became a more pragmatic college where you go in on your first semester, you are able to basically touch camera. You can feel the camera. You can, shoot stuff. Because again, as I said before, throw the students into the ocean, right? Right. So you are able to take it, and then you feel it, and then you do it, and then you learn all the theories and the rules and whatever not, and then you make mistakes. That's good. The more mistakes you do, you learn from the mistakes. Yeah. So in Malaysia, because when I came back, education and all that, it moved towards more. At one time, remember that we were shooting on mini DV tapes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
XL1S, if you remember the camera, XL1S model, right?
yeah, or those Sony or Panasonic mini DVs, right? Yeah. So with those early type of mini DV tapes and all that, we have to somehow work within the technology of its time. It's how I put it, it's limitations, the digital mini DV limitations. Of course, years later, then we move into HD, correct? Then it's a whole different other ball game again. But in Malaysia, because the only place that had film in terms of shooting on film was Academy Film Malaysia or Aswara. Yeah. But once we moved into Aswara, it was already digital camera. It was during the Academy Film Malaysia we were shooting on film. Right? Yeah. So the question now goes is, Sanjana, you were asking the question, how do we develop filmmakers, correct?
Also, when you work with any fresh graduates from film education, do you think they're prepared enough to work in the industry in your own experiences?
Okay. No, not really. Okay. They have to go in and work rank and file and learn the whole system and build up from there. If they come in and basically say, I want to be a director, okay, most students, when they go into film school or whatever, first thing is, I want to be a director. They will not say producer or cinema, photographer, whatever. They want to be a director first. Until you open up the avenue to art direction, to production design, or editing, or then they start to see in terms of where they want to move their career into. True. But most students go in first, I want to be a director. That's
True.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I just would like to add in a bit, Ms. Sanjana. You see, just to share a bit of my experience, the way how I actually started in the industry 20 years ago. All right, I started as a runner. My job was making coffees, getting food, getting that, getting this. My job is all about following instructions for 1 year, all right? Being a Conti guy, understanding what the camera department is all about, understanding what the lighting department is all about. And then I got exposed to the post-production side. So like what you said, Patrick, you just have to work your way up. You just have to, and you just have to be resilient enough to go through that. I mean, if you know what I mean, the kind of hell that you have to go through in order to make sure that you get all the experience in the correct way. It's crazy. It was madness. It's just that you need to be resilient enough, because if I would compare the industry 20 years ago and right now, I mean, people are nice nowadays, seriously, but 20 years ago, the industry, Patrick is laughing right now. Okay, but 20 years ago, if you want to be in the film industry, you just have to be you just have to be patient.
You got to be able to take the
take the hit. Take the hit. Right? So now the question is, Ms. Anjana, the culture changed, yes. All right, 20 years ago and today. All right. But the principle of moving up the rank is the same. You would just have to go through everything in order to understand. If you want to be a good director, you need to know what composition, what camera is all about. I mean, you, at the end of the day, you're going to be picking which camera you're going to be shooting. All right. Who is going to be your DOP? All right. So as a director, you need to know that. If, let's say, for example, you're going to be an editor, you need to know what kind of machine that you want to edit. Depends on the budget that you have. Color grading, the palette, like what Mr. Amitabh just mentioned the other day. Just now. All right. So question is right now, is our fresh graduate willing to go through that before they can call themselves a producer or a director? That is the question right now. So, and if they really want to be up there, they have to be willing, all right, to go through the pain. At the end of the day, no pain, no gain. All right. People like us, Mr. Patrick, Mr. Amitabh, I think we are sharing the same opinion when it comes to filmmaking. You just have to go through the whole entire process and experience them before you can call yourself a director or a producer. And that is my 2 cents about it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eddie. And thank you, Mr. Patrick and Mr. Amitabh. We finally have reached the end of our summit, and it was a wonderful session. And I wish I could ask more questions, but considering the time zone of our Asian context, we have to wrap it up. But before that, um, my heartfelt thank you to both of three of you for joining us today. Now, I would like to invite Professor Craig J. Selvey, the academic director of the third degree, the official sponsor of IIMCS 2025, to have some words.
Thanks, Sanjana. And gentlemen, thank you. That was a really interesting and insightful discussion. I'm not a filmmaker, but my one claim to it is I actually grew up in a movie theater. My dad owned a movie theater, managed a few, and I spent most of my childhood looking at movies through a 6-inch by 6-inch black box up in the projection room. So it's kind of, interesting to see different sides. What I wanted to do just to finish off for this evening is to bring this session and align it with the last 2 days, because we've had some fantastic discussions that have taken different segments of the broader industry. But I wanted to bring us back to, I guess, what I consider a couple of the enduring but also transferable themes. And my notes that I've sort of taken as I was listening to the three gentlemen, we have a changing nature of students. It doesn't matter whether you're teaching PR, whether you're teaching cinematography, whether you're teaching creative writing. There is a changing nature of students, which is quite something for, I've used myself the terminology dinosaur, for us dinosaurs to cope with, but also for everybody. 30-something years in education, and students have changed a lot, and I've had to adjust too. And that's the second point. It's a changing nature of teaching. It doesn't matter whether the COVID pandemic hit us and we all suddenly went online and we had to re-strategize. Something would have happened anyway. And something down the track into the future is going to happen. We're still evolving and thinking through what are the best strategies for the new generation of students? How are we going to get them? And for me, as somebody who teaches research, it's also how are we going to engage those students into research that is going to have meaning and research that is going to have impact for us. I think it comes down to a very common theme, and I've heard the words by actually all three of you gentlemen tonight, plus many people from the different presentations over the last 2 days. And it's the concept of telling stories. And although we might have different perspectives on how we tell stories and what stories we tell, actually, that is a very strong focal point for every single one of us, whether we are a teacher, whether we are a researcher, or whether we are a student trying to emerge into the industry. So as a sort of a wrap up, all I wanted to say is, look, our focus as industry and education professionals is what's next. It's guessing what's coming, but it's understanding that there's always going to be a changing dynamic of the industry. And that's where we need to guide students as educators. I think that comes to the theme disruption. Again, a word used tonight multiple times. Disruption is a theme. It influences how students learn, how we teach, but also where our industry is heading. So I kind of just wanted to take that few minutes to bridge the link between tonight's forum and the really lively conversations that were happening here with the earlier forums, especially for, I recognize there's quite a few people in the audience who have actually been here for the whole of both days. So, just as a way of bringing that together. So I hope that gives some insights, but definitely want to thank you guys for a fantastic conversation tonight. It's got me thinking, which is, a good thing. The old dinosaur also needs to learn new stuff as well. I'm going to hand over to Sanjana for the absolute final word.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you everyone for being with us for last 2 days. Some of you are actually being with us for last 2 days for such a long time. And with this session, we have come to the end of our summit, but this is not the end. I'm requesting everyone that let's carry forward the spirit of IIMCS to keep questioning, experimenting, and collaborating beyond this conference. We will be sharing the videos, the post on our social media pages, as well as it's been live streamed on YouTube. But we would like to connect with everyone. We would like to collaborate. And since this session was about filmmaking, even though we had other sessions, we would like to understand how well we can prepare to teach the next level filmmakers, if there's any innovation that we could collaborate in. And we just launched our game trailer in our previous session, and we will be launching that on social media tonight. So we would also like to understand that if we can do something similar to teach, to make filmmaking easy for both industry practitioners and educators in classroom. So with that thought, thank you everyone. Until next time, thank you for being part of this journey, and see you hopefully at IIMCS 2026. Thank you everyone for joining us, and for anything,
Thank
let's
you.
collaborate
Everyone.
on
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you.
And just the one thing, I'm always open for you or any whoever watching this
Yes.
for any discussion, any collaboration for teaching. My website I already gave, www.amitabhreza.com. That is my website. You guys can contact with any times or any times. I'm happy to collaborate, share for film journey with light and shadow.
Thank you. Mr. Amita, I might contact you for a guest lecture.
Yeah, I will be great. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
okay.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I'll travel anyway. I'm coming back to Bangladesh very soon. Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys. Have a good night.